Oh, power baby, what's going on? I'm here today with Larry Fields, and this is the Power Breaking Show. How you doing today, sir?
Bang bang, baby, doing great.
Phew. Yes, bang bang. That's right, the great Larry Fields and I. Hey, it's been a while, man, since we've done a show. Happy New Year to everybody. It's our first Power Breaking show, and man, there's a lot of breaking going on this year, man. It's an exciting year for breaking, right?
Oh my goodness, we have so many tournaments here in Texas. We've branched out to Oklahoma, working on one in Mississippi, and we have a big one coming up in Vegas. Vegas again this year, so much fun.
That's right. That's right. Expanding, man. That's right. Expanding out to the West Coast. You had an event last in October, right? With and it was in Las Vegas. And then now there's a few more events. There's a few more events coming up out there. So that's good that now, you're gonna be out there in Vegas as well soon. And there'll be more than one event now out there, right? In Vegas with breaking.
Yeah, so we're working on getting there to do seminars so that those guys can, get their students to break, get their black belts to break, so we can have a big league out there and on the West Coast. And we really need that. The West Coast has some awesome breakers. Jeff Brown out there in California. Stan Witt used to have a big tournament out there, and there's a ton of breakers out and we need to latch into them guys and get them to power break with us. And their creative breaking is off the chain. There's so many breakers out there that are trying to come on aboard, and now we have tournaments out there for them to go and start honing their skills, sharpening their teeth, getting some good skills going.
Yeah, man. No, it's great. I mean, it's awesome. There's a lot of unity going on now too with the sport. Like you're getting stuff out there in the West Coast. You're working really hard, and like you said, in Oklahoma, you got the Elite Breakers, right? The Elite Breakers website, man, is amazing. You have all your tournaments there. You saw it. It looks like you look at the website and you can see that you put a lot of hard work into it. You and your wife, for sure. With the Elite Breaking Association.
Well, it's not me, her. He's a He knows so much with the computer stuff. I'm kind of old school, and he does circles around me. There's so many times I call her and I go, "Hey, how do I do this?" She's like, "Oh, well, you do this, 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 and this." Boom, and I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
And it's Elite Breakers Association.com. So Elite Breakers Association.com. It's a great website. She did a great job with it. It has all the tournaments. You can register for them already. I think for most of them, right? From what I was looking, it has records all there that you could look at and go for as well and plan ahead. And you guys got it coming up soon, right? Next week. Next week is a kickoff tournament, right? For the breaking.
Yes, it's going to be in. It's Jamie Wilson's tournament. She's an AOK promoter. She's one of the. I've actually had her break. My wife and her are pretty good friends. You should see them cut her up. They dance. They like to dance. So after the tournament, there's always a little party. And my wife and Jamie, they get out there on the dance floor and they just tear it up. They
That's watching. I heard that somebody's coming down too, right? From out of town, from Alaska, right?
all the way from Alaska. Joe Green is coming, and he's a monster. He's a big, huge guy, and he's a breaker. So there's gonna be some good competition at this tournament. We already have more signed up right now than we had signed up for last year. So it's gonna breaking is growing like crazy. More people are enjoying breaking because I mean, honestly, it's the fairest of any sport for martial arts. I mean, there's been many a times I've been point fighting and got a point, and judge didn't see it. He's at a bad angle or something of that nature. And with the breaking, it's cut and dry. Either you win or you don't win. So it's very very easy. I mean, even in forms, when you do a form, one of the judges might be cut his teeth his whole life on Japanese martial arts, and he may love your form, but you get a Taekwondo judge over there, and he's sitting over there, and he doesn't understand why you're throwing a low kick when you should throw a high one. So the balance of breaking makes it so fair. If you break 12, I got to break 13 to beat you. So
Yeah.
it's
Yes. Yes, for sure. Man, that's 100%. And we've talked, that's one of the things that I love about it because, like, there's no human judgmental element really into it, right? It's just you and the materials. And that's what you always have put in my head, and it's you versus the materials at the end of the day. And then see who breaks the most, right? You've got that jammed in my head from all the times you've told me. And it's so true. And, the beauty of breaking, for me is also with the tournaments that people sometimes they watch the videos and they're just like, okay, you're breaking, but there's different categories like in forms, right? Just like creative, musical, extreme, team, whatever. Like there's power hand wood, power arm wood, foot stomp, you side kick, you can break wood, you can break concrete. There's creative. There's like you could literally go to a tournament and compete in like how many divisions one person could compete in? Like, let's say yours, like probably like 15 or 10, right?
Oh yes, yes. Depending on how many you want to sign up for,
Yeah.
we have vertical now where you can vertical break hand, vertical break elbow, wood, concrete, down elbow, down with wood or concrete, creative breaking, double hand, double elbow. We've expanded to where now we have like 193 divisions. So,
Wow.
and that's
Wow.
little bitty kids all the way up to senior black belts.
Amazing. And no spacers, too, for the people that sometimes talk out there. Oh, dude, no spacers, right? It's like there's no space divisions, too. You know what I mean? So that's really awesome. Wow, so many divisions they're out there to compete in for breaking.
Well, there's like two or three dojos in Texas that they only do non-space. They don't do space, and I keep telling them, I'm trying to get them to do the space, but they're old school, and they are going to do non-space, and they blow up some stuff. It's it's enjoyable to watch somebody, and it's cheaper too if you do it that way because then you know you're not going to break a stack of 12. You may break a stack of 4 or 5, so it makes a big difference for the competitor if they're looking to cut a few corners to be able to do more divisions.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's smart. Yeah, that's true. Hey, and also for the people watching, let's say, you know, what would you say is the level of difficulty? Like, let's say with the breaking, right? Let's say you hit a stack of 6 boards with no spacers, right, or 7, and then you know, to break, you would, let's say the spacers, of course, make it a little bit easier, right? But to break it a lot, you have to still have that same force and power, right? In a way. So it's like you just have to be able to break more, and it changes for you in your experience. I guess is a question that I'm learning from. Like, is there a different way to hit it, like space and non-space, or you kind of pretty much hit it the same way, or do you kind of maybe go faster, more speed on one and more power on the other? It's pretty much the same for you.
Well, I feel like you have a little more power. Of course, you have to hit it fast, but it feels like you have to add more power when you hit spaced because you've got to try to get your momentum all the way through that huge stack. Now, when you're hitting uh, non-spaced, it's all speed. You got to hit it as fast as you possibly can hit it. And people, they don't want to hit it. They hit it, but it literally fights you. So you have to go at it with pure speed. And I've always every single stack that I try to hit it as fast and as hard as I can. But when you're hitting non-spaced, it's a different animal. You really have to put your whole body weight into it with your speed, and it has to be timed perfectly so that your speed and your power are hitting at one particular spot that fast, that much power. So you got to max out on it. So like when I'm training, I try to use non-space to make me a better spaced breaker.
Yeah. That's a good tip right there from Larry Fields. Yeah, I know. And also, some people that say, oh, when you have spacers, it's easier for the first few, right? But then once you get to the higher number, that's not the spacers, right? It's like you gotta hit that thing super for real. Like it's not easy once you get to the higher numbers, especially, you know what I'm saying? So, and the strategy to where it goes higher, right? And the level, right, where it's at, you have to be able make sure that a big thing is where you put the stack, right? You don't want it too high and you don't want it too low. You want it just in a perfect set. So that's one of the beautiful things about breaking that I love. It's not just go up and hit it either. You know, it's strategy, right? Whether if you go first, right? If you go first, there's somebody waiting last that all they got to do is see who break more than the last person that broke the most, right? But if you go first, then you kind of have to do some math and strategize as well in there. And even if you're in the middle, right, you have to strategize too. So that's one of the cool things I love about breaking as well. All those elements, the different divisions that there are, the strategy and how you stack it, the strategy and how much you break, So, if you're one of the first ones, so like I love all those elements, man. That breaking brings to the table with the sport. For me, I just love it.
I do too. And that strategy, like when I go into an event, I put up the maximum number that I think I can hit that day, looking at the bricks or looking at the boards. And if I have to go first, and like I did in New York, I had to go first, and there was a bunch of guys behind me, and I hit as many as I could and broke as many as I could, and then they had to one up me. They have to beat me by one at least, or match my number. So it is a game where you have to know, what position you're going in. And because I got to go last, and I've won because I got to go first. So
Yeah,
I hear guys go, "Oh, I don't ever want to go first." Well, I mean, if you go first and you set that bar so high, everybody else has got to try that number. And if they don't hit it that day, or they hit it off or they hit it with not enough speed, you've got it. And there's been times in competitions where I had to go in the middle or first or whatever. And I looked at everybody else's eyes and I knew before they ever even set up that I had it because I could see it in their eyes. They didn't have it. They knew they had doubt in their mind. When you have doubt in your mind, you're not going to make it. You have to visualize that whole stack being destroyed. And, whether it's wood or concrete, unspaced or spaced, you have to see it in your mind and know that you have it. And then everybody behind you's they gotta man up. They just got to.
man, bro, that's crazy because that mindset happened to me when I was in Texas in December, where I was first, and I'm like, I'm going for 12. I was like, I'm going for 12. That's a number that I had as my sight set on. Before that, the most I broke was, I think it's 9. I think I broke 9 at the Texas last year, and then at the U.S. Open, I broke 9 2 times, 9 of 11, and I'm like, I'm going for 12. Like I said, I don't care. And I like that I was first because that was a number that I was kind of playing with if I was like in the middle or last. And then that was like, okay, you was in your head again. I'm going for 12. And then, yeah, everybody had to break after me, right? And it's fun when you do that. It is. I like, for me, winning that way is pretty cool. I think, right? It's pretty cool when you start. You set the tone for everybody, right? And say, come on, break more than me, right?
Yep, they got to man up. I remember that. I remember how proud I was of you that because you'd said, "Oh, I don't know how many I should do," and I said, "Put them up, man. You're first. Just put them up." You put up 12, and you blew right through them. I was so proud. And that's the thing that I enjoy so much about running tournaments is I stand back and watch and see everybody on what their mindsets are when they set up. And then, I make a little. I shouldn't probably say this, but sometimes I will write a number beside them very lightly, and that's the number I think that they're going to break. And 95% of the time, I'm right. And it's how they set up, their mindset. I look at their eyes and I see, yeah, they got it. And I knew when you set up and you blew through that 12, I saw it in your face. I was like, he's going to get all these. This is going to be cool. And it's cool as being the judge because I can just sit back and watch, and not be in the mind frame. Oh, he broke this. I got to do this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
being sitting back and judging sometimes is so enjoyable. Now, don't get me wrong, I love to compete, but getting to sit back and watch people, especially with the younger kids, especially when you get a kid that sets up a big stack and you can see in their face they have a little bit of doubt, and then they go all the way through, and you're like, yeah, you got it. It's
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, man, for sure. No, yeah, like this weekend, there's a tournament this weekend too that I'm attending. And it's a USBA event, the Dragon Martial Arts Championships, Donald Kaiser's in Palm Bay. And it's a charity event. Proceeds are gonna benefit the Baldrick's Kid Center, Cancer Center. Oh wow, so this is good. It's going towards cancer treatment. This is awesome. Donald Kaiser, it's ABCTF as well, and I'm gonna be there competing. I know there's gonna be some good competitors out there too, so I'm looking forward to it. But like my mindset already is to go for 12 there, right? With the concrete here in Florida, right? Because I know everywhere is different, and I want to see where I'm at with that concrete. So I can't wait. Like I don't care if I want to go first, so I could just go ahead, put 12 and just break those. Right, I'm gonna have so much fun up there. It's just in a few days, and that's another element, right, with the concrete. Right, with you never know what you're gonna get, and even if it's the same material as you hit before, it could be different, right? Because the weather affects it, the humidity, the heat, the rain, whatever. If it got wet, so it's like you really never know what you got right in front of you till you hit it, right?
Yeah, so I like to, I like to see other divisions run, and then you'll see me. I'll go back behind and help them clean up, and I'll look at the bricks and kind of see what they look like, and I try to watch and see how they break, and then that kind of tells me, oh, okay, these bricks are super wet. It's gonna be, you're gonna have to hit them super super fast, and then, sometimes I look at them and go, oh, they're dry. I can use more power. I can get some more power and get some weight into it. And you have to kind of balance all of that out when you're in competition. But yeah, I really wanted to go to this tournament this weekend, and we had some other things come up, but I really wanted to go to this tournament this weekend. Kaiser, he runs a great event. Nick Zambri is going to be helping him too. Those guys, they run a good event, and it's good. The ATF, all of us getting together
Yeah.
and being a part of each other because, like, I sanction their stuff, they sanction my stuff. Like you were saying earlier, all of the breaking is coming together, and we're all being more united in breaking because at the end of the day, it's you against the materials, like you were saying earlier.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, and we're all in this together. It's a sport that we love, and we're all. It's great how we're seeing more people trying to push it even more. You know what I'm saying? Like with Ken, what he's doing with the Unified Breaking Alliance. With you and you, me, right? We're and Nick Zombri, ABCTF, Elite Breaking Association. We're all combining together, and like you seeing events with multiple sanctions, like Ken's event coming up in March, right? It's IBF, it's ABC, it's ABCTF, Point Fighter approved, and then it's also an affiliate for the USBA. You see, so it's like you see all these that. What does that mean to me? It means that everybody's working together, and that's gonna be March 21st, which I'm looking forward to it. They're doing a world record breaking division that whoever wins first gets the record, right? And it's $200 for the men and $200 for the women, which Point Fighter Live is sponsoring. That'll be March 21st.
Yes, I go to that event also. I'm doing a breaking seminar in Midland, Odessa. It's cool to see us working together to push breaking and make it more exciting for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, and the fact that there's tournaments for me, I like that. The more there is, the better. There's breaking seminars, breaking tournaments at the same day. You don't want that, of course, like or an overall picture. But at the end of the day, the bigger picture is more is better. I think that the more you offer to people, the more chances there are, the more opportunities, the better. You know what I'm saying? Like there's only a certain amount of weekends in the year as well. So like, there's been times I've had 4.5 approved events in one weekend and they've all been big. So it's like for me, the way I look at it, I've been like, wow, between four tournaments, there was like 2,000 people competing in one weekend for the sport. And that's the number that I look at, the overall number for the sport growing. So there'll be people competing March 21st, and you'll be doing a seminar, where you're doing it, and I add those numbers together, and that's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? So it's really good for breaking for sure.
Breaking has just took off in it, and it needed to, because I mean it's an element that a lot of people don't get to do at their normal dojo. So by us bringing this to the forefront, more dojos are coming on board. I have a whole curriculum for black belts to teach in their school so that they can get more breakers to tournaments. So and it's a very simple program. They can add it to and make more money on classes by teaching breaking and, and having a separate class for breaking.
Oh man, for sure. My students are loving breaking, and there's kids now that they want to just go to tournaments for breaking. I have my point fighters and my forms. There's some that want to do it all, forms, breaking, and fighting. But then, which I encourage that I learned that from you, but there's some kids that just want to do breaking, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And like, now down here in South Florida with the FBBA, you could be a state champion in breaking because there's those same divisions in every event. So, it's awesome. I love it, man. I really love it.
It's encouraging to see these young kids coming up too. And now, I mean, for the elite breakers, we put in so many divisions for these guys to try out and work on. So we have now three directional all the way down to the little bitty kids to where they can do three directional and get ready for it.
Wow.
We've always had power wood elbow and, for everybody, but now we've started doing vertical side kick or vertical kick. Doesn't matter what kick they do. But now that we started doing that, we did that. We started that up in December of the tournament in Mesquite, Texas, and we've got a lot of people asking about different divisions. It's really opening up people to going, oh man, this is a longevity thing for these guys, because we want it to grow. We want it to get bigger. We want to have more people break with us. And like you said, we need to count. I'm going to have a seminar. I'm going to have like 50, 60 people at the seminar. You're going to have, probably 100, 150 at the tournament. So that brings those numbers up.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Man, I'm looking at the schedule right now. I have all the flyers up, the Dragon this weekend. Then, the schedule for the United Breaking that they put out. February 14th, February 28th, 2 weeks later. That's one there in Texas as well, right? The Texas All Stars. You
The
know,
guy that's running that tournament, he and I started our tournament at the exact same year. And Anthony Allen, he's a good fighter. Um, he's a pretty good breaker when I've seen him break. And he's a really good fighter. But these guys, there's a lot of people that think, oh, I only can fight, or oh, I only can do kata. Well, breaking is the combination of both. A
yeah,
good fighter. If I see a good fighter, I try to make them a breaker, because they're going to be a better fighter because of breaking. And people don't understand that, but it makes you work harder. But if you can do all three aspects of martial arts, if you do kata, you do fighting, and you do breaking, you're more of a well-rounded martial artist. You get more accomplished. And there's been tournaments that you and I have gone to where we both fought. We both did break, like that one in New York. I did fighting and breaking.
you
You know,
did it all, man. Yeah. Yeah.
there's tournaments where I will go and I will do fighting and forms and breaking just to make myself more well rounded.
Yeah, man, and it's impressive too. And at the same time, like you said, it makes you better. in everything for sure. Like I'm making sure that I train in everything to get better in everything, and it's working. Right, I am getting better in everything, and it's motivating me to do everything. But it all started with the breaking for me, which is great, which I love. But that's cool what you said. Like with all those divisions, a point fighter. Like I think at the Texas tournament that I was at, right? I think it was Chambers, right? He broke. He's the lightweight record breaker, and he's a point fighter, right? And he did psychic there, and he did great. He broke like I think it was 11, right? I think I broke 12, and he broke 11,
Yeah,
and he smashed right through them. He could have broken 15, I think. He went like boom, he destroyed it, and that's a guy that's a point fighter, pretty much, right?
yeah. That's D.E. Chambers' son.
Yeah,
Uh, he is a phenomenal fighter. I try to get as close to the stage, or I try to judge when he fights because he is such an amazing fighter. And at that night, he won in fighting on stage that night, in
wow.
point fighting. So I mean, there was a bunch of them there on those point fighting. I was wanting to see you on there that night. I know you couldn't because you had another tournament the
I
next.
know, I know, I know.
Go from Texas at an event to where did you go
I
to?
went to Orlando. Yeah, I went to Orlando for another event because I had committed to doing both, and I didn't realize it was the same weekend. I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna make it happen? And I ended up doing it. It was cool. Two states and two different tournaments breaking. But yeah, man, this year I'm planning on fighting in April in the April 4th event for sure. I'm gonna be breaking there, and I'll be also point fighting. That's the plan right there, and that's April 4th, right? That's an ISK sanctioned event as well. So that's gonna be a good one.
So all of my tournaments that I'm at now, we've applied to be an ISKA event or a qualifier or a, a seated event. So we've applied for all of our events to be ISKA events. So any of the events that we go to, and
Wow,
all of our tournaments that we have that I run or my wife runs, they get points for the U.S. Open, they get points for Texas State, and they get points for Vegas. So we're,
wow,
we're just grow in a big way, make it better for everybody.
wow, man, that's incredible. That's really awesome. And that for me right now is that's where I want it. That's the ultimate goal, right? All the roads lead to that U.S. Open and winning that ISK title, and that's good. You've made it. You're making it. You know, you're making it. With the Elite Breaking Association, right? You with all your events, you're putting that effort out there to give people the opportunity to go out there and try to compete at that U.S. Open, right? To win the title for sure. So that's awesome. That's
So
great, man.
for many, many years, Texas has brought a ton of breakers to Orlando for that world event. And we want to continue that trend, but we want Vegas to grow too. We want Vegas to end up being a world championship also. So it gives opportunity to, there's a bunch of different tournaments that you can go to and get a world title. But in my personal opinion, the only way to have a world title is have people from other parts of the world to
Yeah,
come in, not just Texas, not just California, not just Florida, just from people to come from all over the world, Canada, overseas, and Europe. There's a bunch of good breakers over in Europe.
yeah,
Uh, Open, they used to have some really good breakers up in Connecticut. There's some great breakers there. Canada, you look at Jonathan Field, and there's some other good breakers up there. Some heavyweights that are, what is
yeah.
that?
Anthony, yeah, Mark Anthony,
Yeah, Mark Anthony. Yes,
and Justin FV, man, he's awesome. Like he's awesome, man. He's a great breaker. I know at the U.S. Open, I think he ended up at the end of the day. He competed for the ISK, right, where he hit it wrong on the wrong part, and he ended up breaking zero. But then at the USBA on Saturday, he broke 13. He broke 13, which I think that was like as much as anybody did at the event, the whole event that weekend, right? So So like that's pretty cool. He's a great breaker from Canada. And yeah, like you said, there's when I went over to the WKU and the ICO World Championships in Europe, we're like, oh man, we want to break, we want to break, we want to break. And then in Mexico, Scotland, there's people that want to break too, like out internationally. And I think that that's the next step in all this. You know what I'm saying? Is getting more countries to come and compete and uniting the whole world actually with everything. Oh, looks like we lost Larry for a second. Let's see, maybe he got a phone call. That usually happens. But yeah, guys, the schedule's here March 21st, the Bay State Unification Breaking Challenge. That's the one that I was showing you guys with oh look, it's I can hear you, Larry, I think. We have oh there you go, you're back. Yeah, somebody had probably called you or something, right? Okay, so yeah, so you know the schedule. We're looking. I'm looking back at the schedule as well, and then just there's also breaking. There's gonna be a breaking. I'm gonna be coordinating some breaking in California as well, which that'll be great. You know, it's close to Las Vegas, so the West Coast. On April 26th, they're doing power hand wood, power foot stomp, and power arm wood. So they're starting out with basic divisions for men and women and adult and kids as well and teens. So I'm looking forward to that one too. The WSKF out there, they started their sport karate league and then they added breaking into it right away because they like the breaking as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And then one more event that we're gonna talk about is the Pan Ams. We just got accepted as a ISK event, right? We just got the approval and we're getting registration set for that, and that's going to be Friday, May 15, in Miami, Florida, at the Pan Ams. So the registration, I'm going to have all that stuff out there soon, but we're only doing their adults. It's going to be adults, men and women, 500 for the men, 500 for the women, and they're going to do the four divisions, right? That the four championship divisions, three directional, power psychic wood, creative, and then power arm concrete for the men, and then arm wood for the women. So it's going to be just four divisions for men, four divisions for women. I kind of want to make it like a show in a way, right? Where to highlight all the black belt breakers, and you know, with the prize money, Female Fighters Matter 2 is sponsoring it. So yeah, I'm excited about this one to announce that finally. Oh look, hey, your sound is off. I can't hear you now. Let's see if it comes. I guess the phone call that messed up the audio a little bit there. Let's see. Oh yeah, he'll be right back, guys. But yeah, this is gonna be a great one. The Power Zone. You know, May 15th. It's a Friday, and we have a special that's gonna be going on. It's $100 for all the divisions, all four divisions plus the materials. All right, so it's a good price for everybody and some good competition. All right, here we go. That's it. Okay, there you are. Yeah, there you are. I
Yeah,
can hear you now. Okay, there you're back.
it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I'm going to be all over the place. We've got the Vegas thing coming up. Now we got some stuff in California, which is going to feed into everything that we're doing in the United States. There's also Colorado. There's tournaments in Colorado I'm working on trying to get into. So we've got
Wow.
Mississippi, maybe, and then we got all over Texas, Oklahoma, and I've been in contact with some people in New Mexico. Uh, you know, some of those breakers you were talking about earlier in Mexico. There was a guy, Alex Ramirez, and he was a good breaker for many years. I used to compete against him, and back in the old days when the NBL was
Oh,
big,
the NBL, yeah.
they had was creative breaking. But you know, we've graduated past just one division. Now we have so many divisions. There's so many choices, so many events for people to go and practice and become a better breaker.
Yeah, man. No, for sure. Oh, yeah, and also in April is the showdown, right? The Southern Showdown as well in South Carolina, right? That's an Elite Breaker Association event too, right?
It is not. They're working on getting it taken care of. Um,
Okay.
and is fourth, and it's going to be ISK. that's the goal that we've got right now. I'm waiting for word back. I'm really excited that you already got your word back about Pan Am's. So I'm waiting on a little bit of a approval. But I've had other ISK events here in Texas and in Las Vegas, and we want to just keep pushing it, getting it out there, getting more people qualified, get bigger and better competition.
Yeah,
So let's explain and how this works. So you've got three levels of competition for ISKA. So you've got an event which get your name out there so that you can be get to go to at the U.S. Open, and then you've got a so you got a regular a qualifier. So it's an event, a qualifier, and then a seeded. So there's three different levels. The way they've explained it to me, that of ISK level of getting to be able to compete at the nighttime finals for the ISKA.
okay,
That's
yeah.
kind of shaky.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So there, and I know that one of them with the seated is right June 6th, right? The Hall of Fame one. That if you win, I think that what I heard is if you win there first place, you're on stage, right?
You're seeded, yes,
Seated. You got actually seated, and you'll go. You're on stage there with the champion, right?
yes.
From last year. Wow,
I'm
that's a
working on getting a Texas one as a seated event, and also Las Vegas. So there'll be two seated events in the South and in the West.
I like that. I like that. And then the qualifier ones, if you win there, you get invited, right? And then if it's just ISKA, you could still and win there, you could still get invited as well, right? To the Thursday one. Yeah.
That's how it works. That's the way it's going to be. Uh, that's how I understand it that it works.
Wow, man. Well, that just tells me that how much it's growing too, right? Because you didn't have to, they had to do this because more breakers are trying to get in, more promoters want qualifiers, so they had to do all this, and it's a great problem to have, right? So I can't wait for the next level. The next level I would say would be international, right? To get some ISK qualifiers in other countries. And wow, it's just, and it makes it harder to win for everybody, which I love it, right? I love it. I love that the competition level is getting more and more better because it's going to be even harder to win, and it makes the prestige of winning even bigger, right? So like, and it was like that. It was like that back in the '90s and the early 2000s, and then it's getting back to that again, pretty much, right?
Now, back then, we had people all over Europe. Uh, France, there was a guy from France. There was a pretty good sized team that came from Germany. And then you go into Jamaica. You know, there's teams in Jamaica that have great fighters and breakers.
Yeah,
And Team Ireland, you know, they had a huge team. Team Britain, you know, it's coming on. It's coming on where it
yeah.
can be get world title.
Yeah, yeah. Last year there was Australians there too. They had a big
Yeah,
team there,
yeah.
right? They were wearing the gold and green, and then the German, that German guy, what's his name? I forgot his name. That he's really cool. He did all the he was in there in the invitation. He got invited and he did all of them. He had like the mohawk. I forgot his name. Really cool guy, and he's a good breaker as well. So it's good to see more countries coming on again like that. So it's just building and building, man. The momentum is just growing and growing, and I just love it.
I hate this because I hate to bash anybody, but there's so many of these tournaments out here that say, "Oh, it's a world title," and they have got just local people there. In my opinion, and I've been on bigger stages, but in my opinion, to have a world title, you have people from other countries to be there, not oh well, it's just a state. It's a state tournament. I mean, I see you laughing. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, that's something, that's a topic that's been going on for a long time, and yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true, but you know what? At the end of the day, what can you do, right? People, at the end of the day, you know what? Everybody knows deep down inside, right, what's legit and what's not. Like that's it. There's no hiding that. You could call it whatever, but if you know the truth, what's up with that. You know what I'm saying? So you have to beat. It's who you beat at the end of the day, right? It's who you beat, and where the competition. That's really the most important thing, I think, for me. For it's been like that for me for when I was a fighter, and now with the breaking. Right? It's just that's just the way it is. You got to be better than everybody else out there, and that's what you are. You've proven that for so many years already, right? Like, and that's the mindset that you have, and you invite the competition, right? You invite you love it,
I,
right?
I want the best to be there because I want to see where I lie, where how good I am. And there's been times where I've had like a little local tournament, and I'm training for the U.S. Open, and I'm putting up stacks of 15, 16, and I blow up 10 or 11, and then somebody who doesn't go to a world tournament, they end up beating me. It's because I'm training for something bigger, but these local guys come up and beat me, and then they get the prestige. I beat Larry Fields, he's a world champion. I'm like, yep, you sure beat me. You beat me. I'm glad you did because I'm gonna be next time.
That's funny, man. That's funny. That's a funny story. Yeah, you're putting up 15, right, to training for that, and then their goal is to beat you, right? So that's crazy how big of a name you are. You know what I'm saying? That they're happy with just that, I guess, right? But the bigger picture is the world titles. That's what you're going for, which you have so many. And yeah, man, that's awesome. So yeah, man. So when's the next tournament that you'll be competing at? Talking about that.
I guess, sure. And see, it's a not me because I don't want to say, hey, I'm gonna be here because then
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Larry's there. So I try to keep it low key. And I hate to be arrogant like that and go, oh, if I go, you're not gonna have nobody there. But you know, uh, I want to compete. I want to go out and compete because when I compete, I don't have to do as much. When I'm running events, man, I'm tired at the end of the day when I run an event. And my wife's like, "Well, this year I want you not to compete, but I want you to hit some stuff." And I'm like, "Okay, baby, I love hitting stuff. I love breaking stuff." So it's for me, it's more of an opportunity to go and break. I'd like to go to that one up there in the one that's a seated event. I'd like
yeah.
to go there.
In
Uh,
June. Yeah.
in um, North Carolina,
Oh
the
yeah.
Southern. That was a good event. I want to go back there. I want to go and compete there. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. We are all dictated. We're not all mega millionaires where we can go and run and do everybody's event. I wish I could. I'd
Yeah.
love to go do an event on Friday and go do one on Saturday just to see how I would do.
Yeah, man. That's true. That's true. Well, let's see. Let's see. Maybe you'll come out down. Yeah, I mean, maybe you'll be in Pan Am's in Miami, and then or maybe like a beach one. I saw you breaking. I saw you breaking at the beach when you were on vacation. That was awesome.
Oh, crazy. We local hardware store brick, and we found these bricks that were like 12 inches by. And I'm like, oh, these are going to be hard, hard, hard. And they were. But we found some coconuts on the beach, and I popped them coconuts. Oh, that was so much. And Clint was all excited. Oh, let's break these coconuts. I was like, Clint, you want to try to break that? He's like, no, you break them.
Hey, that's a good side hustle you can have on the beach. You break the coconuts, put the straw in there. Here, $5.
Yeah. It was of fun. It was a lot of fun, and we had some tragic stuff happen. We went down not this past Friday, but the Friday before, and we were supposed to come back Tuesday, and Monday they texted us and said, "Hey, your planes are all canceled." So we ended up getting stuck on the beach for an extra 3 days. I'm a, I'm a different color. I'm almost your color. I
Yeah,
like
man.
your color.
Yeah, man, you're almost as tanned as me, pretty much. You're probably as tanned as me. That's good. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Hey, we had a great show today. Thanks for joining me, and we'll be back next week. We're actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a winner from the Dragon Challenge Martial Arts Championships. We'll bring on a guest from there and just talk about breaking some more. So it's gonna be good. We got some good events coming up this week, next week, February 28th. A lot of awesome events. So yeah, man. Any final thoughts before we finish?
Bang, bang, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have a great day, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Let's get it.